tonight's cover story, Chicago man returning from a grueling trek through the Himalayas.
But the mountain he climbed at home may be a bigger accomplishment. WGN's Mike Lowe has the story.
On an August night in Chicago's Hamlin Park, beer league softball players are running the bases. But just beyond the outfield fence, Stephen Fusak is running in circles.
I'll just do laps around Hamlin Park. The most I've done is 10 miles, which is roughly 23 laps.
The 30-year-old Northside resident is originally from Hammond, Indiana.
The reason why I use the weights is because during the trek, we're going to be using hiking poles. So being able to do this for long periods of time, the trekking pole should be a breeze.
Breaking in my boots, because the last thing you want to do on a trek like this is have blisters.
He's in the best shape of his life, even better than when he was in college. Academics came easy to him. He graduated from Purdue University and got a sales job outside of Chicago. Soon he'd be promoted and moved to Atlanta. The pressure of travel and the lure of liquor proved to be a dangerous combination.
I was looking forward to getting off work, going to the bar, going and having a good time. That was like the thing that kept me going on my job. You know, I was making the most money I was. You know, I was a kid coming out of college.
He was making good money, but bad decisions.
I mean, I could kill a 12-pack of beers in one night.
Which became even worse habits.
Really been abusing it a lot. Me having the need to do it rather than doing it as a social thing anymore.
He found himself ricocheting through a series of drunken nights ending in blackouts and unexplained injuries.
I didn't know when to stop. You get me going and I'm drinking like water, like until I'm blacking out.
Alcoholism, he says, runs in his family. It led to his parents' divorce and a soured relationship with his father.
He didn't teach me the things I was supposed to do. He taught me the things I wasn't supposed to do.
He's working to repair that relationship today. Fusak knew, though, if he didn't end his drinking, it would be the end of him. So on August 22nd of 2019, he quit cold turkey.
I think I lost like 50 pounds over the course of 5 or 6 months. But in that I also started running more.
This year, to commemorate the long journey of sobriety, he and his girlfriend, Jessica, had an idea to take their favorite activity, hiking, to new heights.
A 10-day trek through the Himalayas with the final destination of Mount Everest Base Camp.
They would train for a trek through the Himalaya Mountains, a symbolic way to show what he's overcome, from rock bottom to base camp of the highest point on Earth.
If someone's gonna actually go up to Mount Everest, base camp is where people go to prepare. So right now we're just going through all the videos that I took.
The trek was grueling.
If you're afraid of heights, it's definitely a test of will for you.
He hauled a backpack that weighed 10 to 20 pounds.
Up the mountain, you know, at a pretty steep elevation, anywhere from 6 to 10 miles at a time. And it would be, you know, in not the best conditions.
He said it rained for 6 to 8 hours a day, and as the elevation increased, the temperature plunged.
The scenery that you see while you're walking, it feels like you're in like Lord of the Rings.
The trek would be to the 18,000-foot peak of Mount Kalapatar.
Just put myself in that mindset like, hey, like I was running 10 miles in these boots. Like I can walk up this incline right now. I have these poles and I can do this.
He says he gained new insight into the Eastern traditions of meditation, practiced the rituals, and realized what is gained when we let go.
You have to put yourself in a different mindset. You have to have a self-realization that there's more out there than just you in your bubble and your problems, and that's a good thing.
But back in Chicago, there would be another incredible test of will. Now he's working 2 jobs.
How you doing?
By day as a consultant.
Doing all right?
And by night doing security at Gold Coast Social, a live music bar on Division Street.
So we're trying to bring Nashville to Chicago.
It's an unusual choice, a recovering alcoholic working where temptation flows every night. But it's also a statement of the strength found in sobriety.
I can have a water and a lime squeezed in there. That's kind of my secret, that I just have water or Sprite with a lime in it and go about my business.
In downtown Chicago,
Ultimately, you have to have a reason why you want to change.
Mike Lowe, WGN News.